Hi everyone. Check that we're live. We do seem to be live on YouTube. Fine. Go through my normal thing of trying to find myself. There we are. And we're live on Facebook as well. So I'm just going to share it on Facebook over to the Fairy Hugs store group. So if you're not a member of the Fairy Hugs store group, do join it because there's lots of inspiration over there, and we like to see your makes as well. Do say hi so I know that somebody's watching. There we go. Hi Kathleen and Christine on YouTube. Hi Christine on Facebook. So I will just share a couple of links with you as well. There is 10% discount on, hi Alison, hi Joan, on items that are on tomorrow's show, and the discount on my website, and the discount is available from today until Sunday evening at midnight, or while stocks last. And I've pulled out the individual products so that you can actually go directly to the ones that have got the discount on them, because it's only the ones that are on the show. So I pop that in onto Facebook, and there it is onto YouTube. So as you can see by the title, we're dealing with Fairy Hugs favourites, and that's one of the samples that Art Angel has made for the shows. So you'll see that. So just to recap, the my website is here, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and the discount code that you need is Fairy10. But if you do go into the As Seen on TV section on my website, or if you click on the link that I've given you both on YouTube and on Facebook, then it takes you to the section where the items are discounted, and it tells you all the information there with the discount code and when it's valid too as well. So we've got Sue is here as well. Hi Sue. Alison, Joan. So we've got a few. We're a bit low on numbers this morning, but obviously it can be watched back on YouTube at any time. So I thought what we'd do is we'd actually start by taking you through some of the samples that the design team have made, because they don't always get shown, and I think it's good for you to see them, and of course it gives people a chance to jump on and join us. So this one, as I've said, it's got made by Art Angel. So we've got the stream scene on there. We've got the dragons called Ovrad. Peony was originally on the music and ballet release, and she sat there on a rock, which I think Art Angel must have drawn. And that little dragon there that's in the water that looks a little bit like the Loch Ness Monster, doesn't it? Morning, Josephine. Yeah, that's Rindo, that's the top of Rindo, and we've got some mushrooms in there. We've got the toadstool, and we've got the dotted mushrooms, and we've got the woodland mushrooms, and then you've got some of the fairy branches coming in all around the edges. So that's a fabulous one. I think Archangel likes the stream scene because there's this one, and she's got little Lorella sitting on the toadstool there. I don't know if she's in the middle of the water or not, and you can just about see the bird nest in the forest, the branches there. Hi Ronnie. Here's another stream scene. You've got the forest steps on the edge there leading up to the little mushroom house, and we've got some more toadstools there. And we're going through all of Archangels to begin with. These will be at the studio. I'm not sure if the design team samples from America will be there, but I've got some of those to show you as well. So we've got a little mushroom house village there on the top of the hill there with the stream scene. And Estrella's, obviously, she's walking through the stream there. And we've got again some mushrooms. The little mushroom house there that's on the left, it's got the butterflies coming out of the chimney, and I'm going to be doing that as well because I think I've done that out of the fairy library before now. I really like this one. This is Zippy. Now Zippy, if you don't know, was named after Adam Humphries, the presenter, because he zips all around the place. Obviously he's not a girl fairy, but that's what she's named after. And we've got, I love the way that Archangel's put the woodland door in there with the dotted mushrooms coming off the edge. We've got some clouds in there and some more butterflies. This is the sunken ship. Sunken ship was one of the very first stamps that Fairy Hugs did, and it's one of my favourites. I absolutely love it. You can be eerie, it's great for men's cards. And you've got a couple of the seahorses there and the fish school, which are the little fishes in the water. Here we've got the forest steps, and Archangel's extended them a little bit, and once again we've got the little mushroom house and the forest branches and the bird nest. Another one with the sunken ship. Now this is using the Molten Ridge paper pack, which is on the show. I don't know on Facebook why it's not showing the pictures very well. It is on YouTube. The picture's much better on YouTube. Anyhow, yeah, so the Molten Ridge paper pack is perfect for a lot of the scenes that have been made. I mean, the previous one, this one is the Molten Ridge as well. And it's kind of alcohol ink kind of backgrounds, but it's like scenescapes. It's a really cool pad. I'll show you more detail in a little while. So we've also got the tentacles, part of the tentacles coming up as foliage there. They're great as foliage, the tentacles. Here again we've got the forest steps. Now Archangel's been very clever, and she's done some mirror stamping, and so the actual handrail is on the other side to what the stamp's intended. And she's also played around, I think, with is Alfred going in the wrong direction? Let's have a look. Let me have a look. Alfred. There he goes to the right. No, Alfred's the same. Okay, and on the edge there on the left hand side you've got those are the wild mushrooms, which is a really lovely stamp. So we've got a meeting of dragons obviously with that one. Again, back to the Molten Ridge paper pack here and the sunken ship. You can see how perfectly it looks like it's kind of shipwrecked onto some sand dunes or something, doesn't it? It's really effective. And back again. Oh, your pictures are good on Facebook. Mine isn't good on Facebook. I don't know why. My pictures are rubbish on Facebook. So I'm glad they're good for you. So I got sunken ship again, and you've got some tentacles, and the little anchor that you see there actually does come with the sunken ship. That's all right, Judy. No wonder. I'm just going through all the design team samples, and there's a lot. I mean, Archangel's kind of had a lot of fun with these. This is Estrella, and she's walking up the forest steps. Again, another paper from the Molten Ridge paper pack. And can you see those flowers just on the right hand side in the corner, bottom corner? That's actually from Zippy's wheels of her bike, which is very clever. Here we've got Sienna, and Sienna does sit on a mushroom of her own, but you can actually mask her off if you want to. And she's having a chat with Rindo. And next, this one's very clever. I mean, look at that. Can you see that sort of jellyfish? That's actually one of the dotted mushrooms that Archangel has obviously masked off, and she's drawn the jellyfish tendrils or wherever they are. That's very clever, and she's used forest branches and some of the tentacles in there as well. This is by Jessica, and lovely streams scene here with the stream scene and with the sunken ship. So that works really well. So you're using the right hand side of the stream scene, and here she's got the sunken ship way below the water line, and she's got the fish school stamped a couple of times around the top. She's got some of the other foliage from the Under the Sea collection from Fairy Hugs, and she's got one of the anchor that comes with the sunken ship in there. And this is a fun one. I like this one. So on this one, Jess has used the Misty Whisk paper pad, which isn't on the show, but I do have on my website. And she's got Sheldon, who's obviously sat there on the riverbank and having a bit of a paddle, which I think is really cool. So next we're going on to Anne, and Anne is one of the design team in America, and she uses lots of colour. And with this one, Anne has combined the dancing mushrooms, which are the big mushrooms, with the woodland mushrooms, which are the smaller ones, and the magical hollow die, which is a wonderful die. Absolutely love that. She's used it in a slightly different orientation, and she's popped Lorella, the little fairy, on the top. This is Estrella. She's climbed up the forest steps, and she's obviously heading towards the wild mushrooms, and we've got some dotted mushrooms in lots of colour there. I love the blue and the red on that. And here we've got Peony, and she's sat on the edge of the water fountain, and you'll see there's lots of other characters that can sit with their feet in the fountain, as I'm sure you can imagine. And Anna's also used the mini dancing mushrooms there. So there's the big and the small. Actually, on the packaging, the big one's just called mushrooms, but we all call them dancing mushrooms. And she's got some butterflies in there as well. This is by Meg, and she's got the woodland door and the little the mini stone wall either side of the woodland door. And then just above it, you can see part of the little mushroom house, and she's used it like a chimney, which is really clever. And the little fairy's called Iris. This is another one from Meg. I pulled these photos, and I don't think they're the proper ones, but you can see we've got lots of little dancing mushrooms, and Peony, because she's a small fairy, she can sit on them, and we've got Ovrad coming in as well. This is the larger of the dancing mushrooms, and Lorella and Rindo are obviously having a bit of a chat. And you can see some of the stamps from other releases dotted around. And then this bunch are from Steph. Meg is from America, and so is Steph. And again, Steph uses quite a lot of colour, and you can see that the dotted mushrooms work really well with the toadstool, and Estrella's having a chat with all of the they're some of the dwellers. I don't know whether they're condo dwellers 2, fairy dwellers. I think they're either 1 or 2, and lots of foliage going on in there. And here, like I said, there's lots of characters that can sit in the water fountain, and we've got Sheldon, who's dipping his feet. He's obviously decided that maybe the water's a bit murky in the stream, so he's come to sit in the fountain instead. I should think his toes are a little bit wrinkled by now. And then we've got Ovrad coming in, and we've got some mini dancing mushrooms in the background. Here's the stream scene. I really like this one, a nice long DL card. And we've got the little mushroom house on the bank there. And here's another one of Steph's with the stream scene. I really like the colouring on this one. And she's got the mini weeping tree there, and she's got some of the flying birds and some of the little dwellers there as well. And here Steph's combined the forest steps and the little mushroom house with the magical hollow die. So you can see that magical hollow die. I know a lot of you bought them last year. It's a wonderful die to have, and can be used in lots of different ways. And then I really like this one, just using the tentacles and the fish school, but Steph's used lots of colour with the fishes. I don't know how she uses so much colour actually, but it's really effective. Then we're on to Bonnie's cards, and once again, obviously Bonnie, and many of you know that Bonnie is from America, and she's the lead design team member. And you can see here we've got the woodland drawer nested in amongst the mini stone wall. We've got the forest, the fairy branches. The single birds are from the Fancy Bird set, and then you've got the bird nest in there as well. Here's a stream scene. Lots of the design team have used this particular scene with the little mushroom house, and it does work really well. And you can see the forest steps leading up the hill there towards the little mushroom house, and some clouds in the background. And Bonnie's also used some of the woodland flight from the second anniversary. Is it, yeah, I think it's the second anniversary collection. A previous collection anyway. No, it's the Wizards one. Anyway. And here this is using the Watershine paper pad around the edge of the heart, and we've got Sienna and the butterflies, and we've got Lorella sitting on the dancing mushrooms with Rindo and some woodland mushrooms, and that's from the Molten Ridge paper pack. I think this is from Molten Ridges again. This is Zippy, and you can see that Bonnie's added the butterflies to the actual hillside, and a few little dots, and they look like flowers. And she's also used the fairy bud stencil in the background. Here, this is beautiful, isn't it? This is your wild mushrooms, and also your toadstool and your dotted mushrooms, and Iris sitting on the wild mushroom, and also Estrella as well. Here's an under the sea scene again using the Molten Ridge paper pack. So we've got the sunken ship, the tentacles, we've got the fish school, and we've got the seahorses as well. So that's, and we also got a fairy in there, one of the little dwellers. Here again, Sheldon sitting on the edge of the water fountain here. He hasn't got his toes in this time, and Peony sat on the top, and Ovred's coming in to find out what's going on. And you've got the mini dancing mushrooms on there. And then Bonnie's done, because on the shows there's bundles, but then the products, all the stamps are available individually as well. So Bonnie's done some very simple cards, just using 1 or 2 stamps. Hi Caroline. So here we've got Sienna. Here's Estrella and the dotted mushrooms. Simple. There's no sentiments on these shows, but obviously Fairy Hooks do loads and loads of sentiments, so you can easily add a sentiment in. There we've got the fairy branches with the bird nest and the fancy birds. You've got Iris sitting on top of the toadstool. Then you've got the forest steps with the little mushroom house at the top, and Bonnie's actually drawn in some extra stones on the right hand side there. Here we've got Lorella, and this time she's sitting on the woodland mushroom. She's quite a small fairy, so she can actually sit on small things. Then we've got a Peony sat on the mini dancing mushrooms. Again, she's a small fairy, so she can sit on the smaller ones. Rindo, this is just the top of the larger of the dancing mushrooms. Then look at that, how simple is that, but how effective. The sunken ship with the fish school just stamped a couple of times, and here's another one as well. I mean, look at the way that Bonnie's coloured those tentacles, absolutely amazing, with the fish school. And then another one, this time the tentacles and the seahorses, and we've got the fairy buds stencil in the background, and the anchor is from the sunken ship. And then we've got a Zippy, because obviously she's got wings, so her bicycle can fly through the air, and that's the top of the larger of the dancing mushrooms. So that's all I've got to show you. There are a few more samples, but that's quite a lot, and we are already nearly 20 minutes in. So the 2 paper packs that are on the show, the Fairy Buds is the only stencil that's on the show, and that's included in a bundle. So we've got Molten Ridge. So I figured this was probably the best way to show you the papers, to actually show you the front as a photograph, because it's nice and big here, and I'm not kind of moving it around a lot. So they are double-sided as usual. They're 216 GSM. 6x6, 24 designs, 2 sheets of each, because obviously they're double-sided, so you've got 12 unique sheets, if you like, because you've got front and back, and then you've got those repeated twice. So you can see there's quite a variation of colour here, so you can have some under the sea, some over the top, whatever you want to. So and then this is the water shine. So this is more of a kind of speckled kind of effect to it. This actually is a great one to tear, and you can layer it on top of some of the other paper pads. That's quite a nice thing to do. You could stamp the sunken ship and then tear some of this and put it over the bottom of the sunken ship. So yeah, so there's an idea for you. So for everybody that's just joined us, on my website at the moment, I do put the link at the beginning. In the As Seen on TV collection, there is the Fairy Hugs on Create and Craft on the 18th, and within that you'll find the stamps that are on the show and the stencils and the paper pad. And if you enter code Fairy10, then you get a 10% discount on those items until midnight on Sunday, or while stocks last. And everything that's on there is in stock for me to send out to you straight away, or as quickly as I can manage. So you can see here I've got a cup of coffee and I haven't drunk it because I've been talking to you for 20 minutes, so they're going to be nice and cold, aren't they? So let's get rid of this laptop because we don't need that anymore. Anyway, and let's start with projects, which was the first one I wanted to do. Here we go. Let's grab all my bits and pieces. Oh, I'll show you these first actually. I was messing around before I started with my Rotate Mate, and so obviously these aren't matted and layered yet, of course. Sorry about the reflection here, but it's very dark outside. So we've got the sunken ship, and then these are from the Teeny Icons set, which aren't on the show, but they are obviously under the sea, and they are part of the Fairy Hugs collection. Teeny Ocean Icons 157. And so I put a couple of the crabs and the starfish using my Rotate Mate, and then the Wisdom Sentiment. So obviously that's going to be matted and layered. I quite like that one. And then because I was playing, I've done this one as well. So we've got the Woodland Door on the show and Rindo, and then I've got the Little Magic Sentiment, and then I put some of the mini fireflies just around Rindo there. So obviously I'm going to add a little bit of colour to his wings and finish off with a bit more colour to the door. But yeah, I thought I'd just have a little play. Yeah, we've got a lot of rain here in Milton Keynes, a lot of rain, a lot of rain. So I thought we'd start with this paper, and this is from the Molten Ridge. Let me have a slurp. And I do have a plan. It's probably going to go out the window because I planned it yesterday and I can't remember what I planned. So we're using the Woodland Door, and that's going to go, I think it's going to go on the top of the hill there, like so. And we're going to have the forest steps going up to it. I may well trim a little bit off. And then Zippy's going to be coming in. She's going to be zipping up the hill. And we're going to put a bit of foliage around it as well. Okay, so we've got a plan. I am going to try and stick to the stamps that are on the show, but obviously there's a lot that are going to fit and work with it because, oops, obviously it's called Favourites, and it's a selection of stamps from lots of different releases, so you know that they're all going to work together because it's from lots of releases. Right, so butting this up, I've only just trimmed a tiny bit off from where the it was gummed, so it is a 6x6. And let's get the foliage door. Sorry, not foliage door. Is it foliage? No, Woodland Door. woodland door. There's 3 doors in the collection because it's from the Mini World collection. So let's have faff. I want it there, I think. Let's have another magnet because we can. I tend to do the doors in brown, so I'm going to Acorn VersaFine Clair. Always use VersaFine Clair because VersaFine Clair is nice and juicy, and the papers are really forgiving to stamp on. They do help you an awful lot. So Tanya's going to be demonstrating tomorrow because obviously I've retired, and I'm not sure what she's got planned for you because I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm sure it'll be really good. So the shows tomorrow are on at 3 and 7. I'm just going to go again so I can have it a little bit darker. So when I colour in, obviously you're not going to see that bit of green at the back, or most of it's going to disappear. You can see it sits on top of the hill really nicely, and you can do this with any of the doors. There's the foliage door, the acorn door, and then there's this one which is the woodland door. There we go, nice and dark now. Might be a bit wonky, but it doesn't matter, does it? That's that one, and I'll do the 5 steps in a moment. Let's get Zippy going up, zipping up the hill. And when Bonnie quite often puts a gem in the centres of the wheels, which is quite nice. I'm just moving it over ever so slightly. In fact, what I'm going to do, so I've not stamped Zippy for a while, I'm just going to change the orientation of the page so that I can actually butt it right the way up to the corner, just in case she moves. Right in the corner. Okay, so she's going up the hill. Reminds me of that Kate Bush song that's very popular with Stranger Things, running up that hill. I don't want that colour, I want black. Make a mess. I'll press and see how she stamps. She probably stamped pretty well because this paper is so good. But we might go a second time just so she's nice and dark. She's pretty good, but we go again. I think I need to re-ink, just to give myself a little bit of re-ink. I meant to do this before we started. So VersaFine Clair re-inker, do have it in stock still because I bought a lot. So if you need that, that's where you can get it. Hi Hazel. Hazel's on the UK design team, the social media team of Fairy Hugs. So if you're joining the Fairy Hugs store Facebook group, then you'll see Hazel's makes once a week. And do remember with YouTube, that's my YouTube channel, and I've got, look at this now. Like and subscribe. Look, it's moving across the bottom. That's a new thing. Let's have that one second. That's better. I wonder if Phil's found that widget. Right, that's all bedded in now. Yeah, Hazel did a very clever Christmas card yesterday with the wreath builder. So do have a look on Fairy Hug Store, and it is lovely. I must say, it's lovely to see some of my customers putting their makes into Fairy Hug Store, because we love to see, really do, and it's amazing. And did you see Jean put one on with the penguins, and she used the woodware texture plate as like a snow slide for the penguins. Excellent. That was wonderful. Loved that one, Jean. I love them all, but that one was so clever. Right, so Zip is there. So she's zipping up the hill. I think she's late for a date. Whoever lives through that woodland door. No, Zippy doesn't belong in that one. Zippy belongs in this one. Well, I was going to show you actually, because Steph from the design team was asking how people store their stamps. So I'll show you the small one. I've got a load of really useful boxes from years ago. And so this is the small one. So it's not very deep. It's not very deep. So this houses all my small size stamps, and I've got the next size up for my medium size stamps, and then I've just got a box for my large stamps, and they're all in number order, and I write the numbers on the top, so 155 fan plants, and because this is the order that they've been released in. And so if I can't remember, I can normally remember which collection, so I'll know where I can find them, and I know where to put them back as well. I haven't got the winter ones in here yet, but yeah, so that's how I store mine, so I can find them all. I tell you, it made a massive difference. Well, it took me quite a long time to organise them, but it made a massive, massive difference. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of masking now. And I've got a mask of the woodland door. You're very welcome, Jean. It was just so good. Loved it. I know we all love the penguins, don't we? So I've actually just trimmed it a little bit smaller. So this side's got to be what I need to have. Sorry if I knocked it again. I want to get it nice and okay. So we've got dirty mark. I'll have to see to that. Right, so that's all masked off now, and it's a woodware masket sheet I'm using. And we're going to bring in our woodland mushrooms first, I think. And we're going to put those just on this side here. So let's move the orientation around again. Take your time. It's not a race. Let's have them down a bit so that they're not, the ones on this side aren't floating around. So. Caroline's saying hers were with other stamps, but now they're in their own box. Yay. Yeah, I've got 3 boxes and I'm going to have to start another one. Okay, so what colour should we do the mushrooms? Let's do them perhaps in a green. So this is Rainforest. Just have a point of difference. Lovely rich green. How are we doing there? That looks pretty good. A little bit at the top, I'm happy with. That's better. Right. That's our woodland mushrooms. And then we're going to bring in our forest steps. That's all right, Edith. It doesn't matter if you're late. if you've got time later on, if you want to watch again from the beginning, because I've been through all of the samples, not all of the samples, most of the samples that the design team have done. So you might find it quite useful to look at them. So let's have the forest steps now. And because I've masked, it means that the steps can go right from there, like so. I don't know if I've ever used the forest steps before. How rude. Let's get another brown out. So we go for pine cone this time because it's a darker brown, darker than the acorn. It's nice to have a selection of VS Fine Clairs, although just black is wonderful. Not sure how all this is going to turn out because I've not had time to play at all, except for the half an hour before we started with my Rotate Mate. That looks good. Happy with that. That's more of a fine line stamp, so you don't have to worry about the intensity unless you want to stamp it a second time. So that's your forest steps. I think that's all the masking we want to do, unless we want to have, what we could do actually is bring, what did I do with them? Because I've pulled everything out for the individual demos, I probably won't be able to find what I want. Oh, there we go. We could bring in a couple of clouds, try and get rid of that dirty mark. So we could put it over that dirty mark there. And we'll use Morning Mist for this, which is the grey. Didn't need to leave the mask there actually because I'm to one side. So you can't see the dirt. No, not now. Win-win. Let's have another cloud up there maybe. So I've just put the acetate down because obviously my stamp is dirty. Do you want some more clouds? No, now I've started, I won't know when to stop. Let's put this one. And maybe bring another one of these thin ones. Don't know what I'm doing with clouds really. Just making it up. And then we'll walk away from the clouds. I don't want the green, I want the grey. See, I've gone totally off tangent because I was going to do something else. I've got another stamp sat here at the side and I'm thinking, what did I intend to do with that? Okay, so now we've got some clouds. Let's take this off. That kind of works, doesn't it? Let's see if you can see properly. I'm just going to put my mask back on the carrier sheet so that it stays nice and adhesive. So what I thought I'd do, but I've gone off at a tangent, as you always do. I was going to bring in some fairy branches. I might still do that. We'll see if we can, but it might look a mess. So we'll just look, because we've got the acetate printed, we can see whether it would work or not. The fairy branches is a huge set, so we could have bought some fairy branches in across there, like that. We could still do that. Let's do that. Still do that. Let's just go for it. Obviously, you don't have to use the whole stamp, but it kind of just frames the forest door a little bit, the woodland door rather. Put that in the corner. We'll do this in a pine cone. Could have done it in green. But it's going to be brown now, I've decided. And it's fine to have the clouds coming in at the back because you can see clouds through trees. To put another one in, I might want to put another one in. I might want to just bring in, no, don't want to do that. Change my mind straight away. Definitely don't want to do that. Could bring another one of those in there though, that might be quite nice. So, have this or another piece of acetate. Don't need much. And we're just going to layer that one on top of the other one. Flop, flop, flop. These papers are brilliant. What am I on? Black? No, grey. Don't want grey. This is what happens when I've got too many ink pads around me. Pine cone, that's what I'm on. There we go. Happy with that. So we need to have something down below as well, I think. This way. So obviously you can go into a whole load of foliage that fairy hugs do. But if you're new to fairy hugs and you haven't got anything yet, these. Oh, Zippy's case is broken. Let's grab the minis. So you could bring some more of those mushrooms down, or we can have some mini fancy mushrooms. So let's have some of these. Let's get rid of these magnets. Quite like a big block when I'm doing this sort of stamping. So let's see how we're going to go with this first. Let's have Shady Lane. Are we all right? Very quiet. checking my stamping. Yeah, that's good. It's not been used for a while, so I'm just testing it out. And I'm leaving it on the mat so that I've still got a bit of cushion underneath. Engrossed. And then you can change the levels of the mushrooms to make them all sit together. So you might not want to have another one there. You might want to have a gap. So you might want to have them tall up here again. It is actually quite easy, and it does, Ronnie's saying I make it look easy. I think it makes a difference when you've got a whole load of stamps to draw on. Let's have one down there like that. I know it's going over the top of the stone. So I'm always tempted to make them meet, and so there's a whole row, so that's what we're going to do. Because I can't help it. I just like a field of mushrooms. Obviously now there's going to be a bit of a gap anyway, because I should have just carried on. I didn't know I wanted to do this. No, we're all right, look. That one's a bit lower. So now, let's fetch this out here so you can actually see away from my... I'm too tight to change my paper on the back. So obviously I'd add a bit of colour, do a bit of colouring in, and then once you pop it onto black card, you've got a scene straight away. Obviously there's quite a lot of stamps on there, but you don't need to do that many. But it is easy, and it's all started with the Molten Ridge paper, and the papers are really good because they give you a springboard, and they give you a starting point, which is a lot easier than starting with just a blank piece of paper. Yeah, definitely is a magic mushroom field. So that's number one. I have got 4 planned, but whether we do 4 or not, I don't know. But yes, so that's that one. Put that one with that one there. And now we're going under the sea. And we're using the Molten Ridge again. So all the papers I'm using are Molten Ridge because I haven't pulled a water shine out of my stock for me to use. So we're going to do the sunken ship, the wonderful sunken ship. And here, once again, I've left it so it's virtually 6 by 6, just trimmed off the gummed edge. And I'm not sure whether we're going to go, where we're going to go with this yet. Let's have a look. And I love the kind of speckled finish to this here. So it's where the kind of alcohol ink has moved. I'm assuming it's alcohol ink. It looks like alcohol ink. I don't know. There's a slight, actually let me hold this up. I like on some of the papers there's a slight kind of netted texture to this. It's really cool. You can see it up here as well. Really cool backgrounds. I say they're perfect as a base, and it's a nice surface. The ink does take longer to dry though. It's kind of, I'd say it's a semi-coated surface, but it does take inks, and I know Bonnie puts the pencils on there as well, so you know it does take a lot of mediums on top. So obviously mine's quite dirty, but you can put it however you want to on here. Which way was I going to do it? I think I was going to put it on the top there like that. There is a plan. What was I going to do? Oh yes, I was going to do, yes. This one's quite simple, I think. There's some great under the sea sentiments that are quite appropriate. So we'll see if we can bring some of those in. Okay, so we're going to do this in black so it's nice and dark. It does look like the seabed, doesn't it? It's really cool. Don't forget we've got seaweed, we've got mermaids, there's a shell door, there's all sorts from under the sea. There's a big seahorse, there's a jellyfish, there's all sorts. You can obviously add your white pens to this to make it look a little bit more defined if you want to. Obviously I'm just dealing with stamping, that's what we're doing. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't it look awesome already? This paper's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm going to go again because there's a little bit just there that's not dark enough. I think this is stamp number 4. So we had there were 2 fairies, Bluebell and the Kissing Fairy, and then I think the next one was probably Oscar the octopus, and then this one. That's better. Look at that! Isn't it wonderful? Magical, magical. Great for men's cards, but just such a wonderful image. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of feel to it. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And if you were actually doing a card for a man, you could use the anchor to make your own personalised wrapping paper, or put it on the back of the envelope. So the anchor's really useful. Obviously we could have the anchor down here, and we might, I don't know, we might not. Let's just find a sentiment. Obviously the sentiments aren't on the show, but where's the depth? There we go. Rock formation we could have, twisted seaward, sea quote. We've got the 3 sea sentiments. There's this one which is sea quote. The sea once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever. So I'm struggling to read because I put my stamp on a bit weird. And then we've got serenity. The ocean takes my heart to a place of serenity and peace. And we've also got depth. It's not the depth of light, it's not the length of life, but the depth. So I think that's really cool. So we might use one of those. They're not on the show, but I do have them all in stock on my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk. Right, so I think we do want to have some fishes from the fish school in. This is a new stamp because I sent Tanya mine. And let's have them. I think we might have a couple of them actually. Let's have one up the top, and we might have one coming off that side as well. That's a good place for the sentiment really, but let's have the depth down. No, we won't have the depth. So I want to use the tentacles as well. I'm going to get the tentacles are going to go down here somewhere. Let's do the fish school first. Told you I faff a lot. What colour should we do the fish? Should we do the fish in blue? Let's do the fish in blue. I don't know which one's going to show up. So we go for Bluebell. There's wonderful detail on these fish which you can't really see on the packaging. See? Really cool. And then I think we'll have one on the other side as well coming in. So they are schooling. Let's turn it round. Paranoid about things moving if I need to do them a second time, because it's happened to me so often. So we're bringing our acetate again, and we're going to have them over here. And just to remind you, I do this so that I don't make a mess. I think we're going to have them coming in amongst the masts of the ship. Not turn, that's the wrong one. Blue. I've done that before. Change the colour of a bunny from brown to black because I used blue the second time. Like that, that works. Right. Okay. I wonder if we can get depth in there. I might be able to get depth in there. Probably get it in there. So we'll think about that in a bit. So I want the tentacles down at the bottom. And you can use the tentacles in non-sea related projects as well, because they're quite good at just as foliage. I remember that Bonnie did this. I mean, look at that. Look at the way she's done all the suckers. Amazing, amazing. Right, tentacles. I currently only have one of these left, but I will get some more. Let's have tentacles over there to start with. Go for another blue, but we'll go for a darker one. Go for medieval blue. The darkest one is Twilight. Good old press. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go again. I haven't used a lot of these stamps for a long time. You forget, it's quite nice having these kind of shows where designs come back again, because A, I can give you a discount, and B, it's nice to have the excuse to use some of the older designs, because I think that's the same with whatever company that you're dealing with. You always tend to use the latest ones rather than some of the old ones, and there's some cracking you know, stamps from previous releases. Look at that, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Now I think I want to have some more. So I think I want to have perhaps perhaps another one, but further down like that. So actually let's put it on the actual image piece for a change. Because that'll show me exactly where I want to have it. In the corner. As usual, my things are sliding around. Medieval blue, pick up the right one. Caroline's saying the Kraken awakes. Yeah, it is very Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't it? I think I'm going to just leave that one once, actually. Do I want to have any more this side? Let's just have one here as well. Live dangerously. Just kind of clipping the edge of the... It's a clipper, isn't it? I think. One medieval blue. I'm not going to make this meet completely on this one. I'll do this one a second time. Make this one a bit darker. Okay, happy with that. That's your tentacles. It is good to get old stamps out. After I've moved, when I get time, I want to get a load of old stamps out and have a really good few weeks with some older ones. Right, so we've also got the seahorses on the show, and these I've got reduced anyway because I bought too many, so I've got quite a few of them. So you could have some seahorses nestling. I have got some cut out actually, so this might show you a little bit more accurately. Where are they? Oh, I might only have one actually. So you could actually have a seahorse, move it over, in there. In fact, I might do that. I might have one separate and just have it sitting in there like that. And with the seahorses, you've got two silhouettes, and then you've got one that's got detail on it. I don't know if I've got a detail one stamped out. Let's have a look. I keep all these bits, and then some, no, I haven't. Sometimes they're useful to have. So we do that. We'll have that in a minute. I think what we might do, I wonder if we could just have an anchor just there, one that's sunken ship. So we do that in black. There it is. could stamp and emboss it so it's metal, so you could do it in silver. The papers will take embossing powder quite nicely. So now you've got an anchor in there, in amongst the weeds in inverted commas. Obviously your tentacles you could have coming downwards as well. You can do all sorts with the tentacles. It's so dirty I can't see it. Look at that, it's even in old packaging, because the fairy and the, see this is number 7. That's the old packaging. There's new packaging's like that. But having said that, the company is only just over 2 years old, so 2 years in August, last August. So it's not that old. Don't need those anymore. Right, so but yeah, that's going to go there like that. So let's pop a sentiment on here. That's the depth. It's not going to go there, but I think we could have it up there. So let's do that. It's not the length of life, but the depth. Let's see if that's straight because it's near the top. Yep. Let's have that up there. And we do that obviously in black, so it stands out. Quite like the space here that's empty. Oh, missed a bit. That's better. Nice and deep. So if we pull this out now, grab our one piece of black card because I've been really stingy. Where is it? What that is? In fact, with this one, you don't need to add any colour if you don't want to. Bit of glitter, don't know where that's come from. Cool, isn't it? And it's all that paper. The paper's done all the work, which is just brilliant. So that's number 2. You're doing well. It just sometimes helps just to get a load of stamps out, papers out, and just see how they all fit together on a piece of paper, which is all I've done. So let's go for number 3. Seahorse. Oh, let's put that away. Thank you. Right, how are we doing? 108. Oh, let's go for the 4, shall we? Let's go for the 4. Now this one I'm not sure about, so it'll be a work in progress. If it doesn't work, it's a piece of paper. There's 2 sides to a piece of paper, so I can use the other piece. Again, we're with Molten Ridge, and we're going to use this pinky one. The other side's that kind of one, which again is quite moody and actually reflects the weather at the moment, I think. But we're going to go for this one. So I'm thinking that in the background I'm going to use the Fairy Buds stencil, which is on the show, just on there. And we've got the wild mushrooms, and the wild mushrooms I'm thinking are going to go here like that. And I've got the sentiment there. We've got some dotted mushrooms, so I'm thinking that we might dot some of those around. We've got Estrella. Estrella's going to come in here. Iris is going to sit on the mushroom there. And I was going to see if I can get the friendship sentiment in, which is said, it says, a friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. It's easier to read than that, but because I've not put it on right. Oh, and then we've got some fancy birds which may or may not appear. So we have a plan once again, but like I say, whether it comes to fruition or not, I don't know. And I haven't got any inks out, so let's just grab some inks. Go for pink raspberry. And I mean, obviously with this one you can have the buds going downwards or upwards because you've got a top of the bud. So let's have them going that way. Just in the background. Now I put all my big pads away. So let's hope this is inky enough. I don't want it to be too strong. I do want to see it. Yes, I can just about see it in the background. So it's quite a delicate stencil because there's a lot of detail going on. So you can just about see it in the background there. I'll hold it up so you can see. Okay. Obviously that's going to just wash off in water. And I'll get right into it. Obviously I don't need to do any land or anything because I've got it, the paper's given me that already. I don't normally keep my inks like this, but it's just, I think it's the one I took to the studio when Tanya had her first shows. I normally keep them in colour order. Let's just clear that up. It's Distress ink. I don't like stamping on top of oxides when I'm doing this sort of stamping. I like stamping on top of Distress ink because it's a dye ink, the colour doesn't change. When you stamp on top of oxide, sometimes the colour of the ink will change, so the black will be duller on top of the oxide than off the oxide, if that makes sense. And obviously because this is a small design, we're going on and off it. Right, let's go into my stamping platform and stamp our wild mushrooms. I might need to change the orientation. Let's see. Wild mushrooms, number 73. Actually, let's do it this way, so just in case I want to go off the page. Because remember, you can actually go off the page and give yourself a little bit of movement. You don't actually have to have the whole thing on there. So let's do that just to show that we can, and it's just as beautiful. I mean, where's that beautiful sample with this that Bonnie did? Look at that. Look at the way she's coloured that in. Oh, I so want to visit Bonnie's house and sit down and colour with her because it's just, her colouring's amazing. Back in the room. I think Tanya's got Dean and Yanis tomorrow. 3 and 7 the shows are. Let's do this in black because it's quite a dark paper, so we want the mushrooms to stand out. Once again, I haven't stamped this one for ages, so we'll see. Sticking. Well, you come. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I know it's off the page and you're looking at a very dirty area here, but that's just beautiful. Love it. Wild mushrooms, that's what this one's called. Right, so obviously you can stamp those several times if you wanted to. Pixie, Trixie and Dixie, obviously those little tykes can be running across a field of wild mushrooms. They get it everywhere, don't they, those three? So let's go on the right way, because I like to be this way. And we'll bring in Estrella. Remember, this Estrella works really well walking up the forest steps, as our angel did there. But I'm going to have her down here, just coming in. And then we're going to stamp Iris, and if Iris is not so good because she's got marks, I've got one cut out as well, so as in the bits and pieces underneath, but we'll have her there, like so. Poor Estrella, she's got a long walk to go and see Iris. Don't forget, even if you haven't got the paper pads, if you get something like the stream scene, you can make your own scenes. That's again quite an early stamp. That's one of the first stamps that I did on TV. Perhaps about 2-3 months in. Come on, girlies. Don't want it to flick up. Oh, they've stamped beautifully, actually. I'm going to do them a bit darker because of the mushrooms there. But I'm going to leave Estrella alone, actually, because she's fine as she is. And if I make a mess of Iris, I've got her cut out. So you can always fix things. She's quite early, actually, 105, Estrella. She's fine. Okay, so that's Iris sat on top of the mushroom, wild mushrooms. Like I say, you could, if you wanted to, have her cut out on the top instead. So, you know, choices, up to you. She's very easy to cut out. A lot of them are, actually. If they've got kind of wispy bits on their wings, I would stamp them first and then stamp them and cut them out and put them on top and just cut the wispy bits off, because you can still see the wispy bits on the stamping that you've done underneath, if that makes sense. That's Iris. I don't have those anymore either. And what else are we going to have? we're going to have the friendship sentiment. Actually, we can now put that in the middle, like so. And then we'll bring some dotted mushrooms in down below. Straightish. I don't know about perfect sense, Caroline. Long are the days when I made perfect sense. There we go. A friend is someone who knows a song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you've forgotten the words. Very easy to read. And that's the friendship between these two girls. Not on the show, but is available on my website. So let's have the dotted mushrooms. These were super, super popular when these came out. And I'm thinking that we might actually have some coming in at an angle over here. So let's do that. And of course you could add a little bit of white gel pen to the dots if you wanted to. Stop touching the blue one, Julia. You get the black. Oh, what a mess I've made. Look at this. I think my camera must be a bit lower down today because I'm constantly out of vision. Dotty mushrooms in the corner. Now I think we're going to bring in some on this side as well. Let's move that over there. Where's my acetate? So the acetate that obviously comes that isn't printed with your stamp is invaluable. So we could have perhaps coming in at an angle on this side, like so. Yes, I think I might stop at that. How's that? Just thinking about using our fancy birds. I'll put just another couple down here. That might not look quite so. Let's have a look. Let's put them right down. Don't be frightened to go off of the page because it gives you a bit of movement. Ink pad. There it is. Mushrooms, that one. So let's move this around again so that I'm happier. And then we'll have with the fancy birds, you've got two facing that way and one facing the way that I want it. So we can have one of the fancy birds just on one of the dotted mushrooms, like so. And we just stick to black and make a mess of the platform again. Don't worry, Emma, you can watch it from the beginning. We've been going for over an hour and 25 minutes. There we go. So let's fetch this off. Put my bird away first. Birds. Put the lid on that before I stick my fingers. Oh, look what I've done. That's from the lid. Oh no, where's the ink police? I'm such a mucky pup. This is where you don't want to pick up a piece of white card. So where's my piece of black card again? Right. So once you pop it onto black, it pops. I mean, you could add some, I don't know, caterpillars or, yeah, instead of talking about it. See, because they're all in order, I know exactly where they are. Let's add a caterpillar in there because we can. Catch up on Sunday. Can't you catch up before then, Emma? The offer on my website runs out on Sunday, so if there's any stock left, so do look at the Unseen on TV section on my website, and you'll find details of what's on the shows on Create and Craft tomorrow. And there's 10% off with the code FAIRY10. So that's my website. That's the discount code on the fairy hugs. So we're just going to add a caterpillar because we've got quite a bit of gap there. I mean, you could bring in, I don't know, mini foxes, mini cats, mini hares, mini anything. There's loads in the Mini World collection that you could add in here. You could even bring in one of the dogs if they're facing the right direction, or I mean, Ed could be in here. So now there's a little caterpillar. They make me giggle, the little ones. Oh, I need another piece of what's it. So this is the thing, you see, if you've got them all, I haven't got every single one. I think there might be 2 sets I don't have out of the 500 and odd, or whatever there is. So I'm very lucky. So let's put this back on this black card. That's all right, Emma, don't worry. But I did go through all the design team, or not all of them, but most of the design team samples as well, so that gives you a bit of inspiration. And do remember to, if you're not a member, to go onto the Fairy Hug store. So there we go, there's project number 3. I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, like I say, you can bring in some white gel pen to kind of make the dots kind of stand out a little bit, but the paper, the Molten Ridge paper, is a really good starting point. Right, let's go on to the last one then, because I said we would do it. So this one, again, we're on Molten Ridge, and that's the other side, which is another one of the pinky ones. So with this one, again, we've got a plan. Oh, I need to pull out. What did I do with the stamps I've just used? That one? Yes, that one. The forest steps again. So with this one, I thought we'd actually use a little mushroom house. We're going to perhaps do a couple of them, perhaps do one there and one there, so a couple side by side. So if you're planning it out, what you can do is if you've got a dirty stamp, you can see that you're going to have, actually not an inky dirty stamp, you can have one there and one there, so you can see that that's going to work, okay? And then we're going to have the forest steps coming down from them, so that's going to be what's going to happen with those. Again, we can do that. We can take our forest step and perhaps put it on this one, because that's the, and then this one will come like that, so you can see that that's going to work, right? And then I thought perhaps down here we'd have a toadstool. Out the chimneys, we're going to have the butterflies coming, right? And I did have the clouds as well. Goodness knows what I did with the clouds. I had it on that one, didn't I? There's the clouds. I might bring in some clouds again. I thought we'd have Peony sat on the toadstool, so she's going to sit there. And I've got Rindo out. I don't know what Rindo's going to do. He might not feature at all. I don't know. And I've got mini dancing mushrooms, so we'll see. We've got a loose plan, so we'll see what happens. As always, it's never set in stone, is it? Right, so the first thing to do is to stamp the little mushroom house twice. Forest steps. Forest steps. That's the little mushroom house. Talking to myself. There we go. There's there, so I don't lose them. And again, we're at 6x6 from Molten Ridge. So we do the one that's in the dip first, and there's the little pumpkin house, and there's also the little acorn house as well, from the Mini World collection. Which I think was May last year. Was it May this year? I don't know. Might have been May this year. Tap, 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 tap. Clean up. Lots of detail on this. Obviously I would definitely colour it in. You do see some lines of the paper, but that's diminished when you colour it in. So to do it second time, we want it over here, so I'm going to just swivel this around as per, just in case I'm going off the page. I'm going to have dirty fingers. And it's going to go over here. At some point I will swap this paper over so it's not as, but it's not done, served its full time yet. I was going to go just off the page a little bit. So remember to take the acetate off before you put the ink on. And the reason again why I do that is because my stamp is dirty, and while I'm moving it around I might transfer some of the ink where I don't want it. There's loads and loads of videos on my YouTube channel with Fairy Hugs and other brands, but if you're looking for me on YouTube, that's where I am, and we are asking you to like and subscribe. That thing's really funny that's underneath. I have to tell Phil about that. Okay, so there's our 2 mushroom houses. It's worked quite nicely. In the corner. It is. The white one keeps on coming off. I think it must have a bit of sticky on it. If I don't put these back, then I have a massive job. It's bad enough anyway with all the stamps I have to put away. Right, that's that one. And let's just give that a moment or two for the ink to dry. So let's grab our toadstool house. Oh, sorry, not toadstool house. Our toadstool. I mean, we could bring her in up there, but I think we're going to have her down here. I think I'm just going to stick to black today. This one. I mean, you could do your spots in red if you wanted to. Whatever colour you want your spots of your mushroom to be. Or you could just have it where it just takes in the colour that you've got on the paper underneath. Great detail on this stamp. So that's that one. Obviously if you want it dark you can just go again, but we'll pick up the pace a bit. Toadstool, where'd you go? Butterflies and mushroom hairs. I put the wrong one in there, that's what it is. That would really screw up me when I'm looking for it. Where on earth have I put that? It's not in the right one. Which one did I mix it up with? Then we're going to pop, let's pop Peony on the toadstool. So she could sit, she was originally designed to sit on the piano stool, but she can absolutely sit on anything. I mean, where's that sample that she is sat on the side of? See if I can find it there. She can sit on the side of the water fountain. She can sit on, there's loads of different mushrooms she can sit on. She can sit on the mini dancing mushrooms as well as the big ones. I like the fact that we've got lots of fairies that can sit on things. And if you're worried about doing this, then all you need to do is just if you make a mess of it, just stamp her on a separate piece of card, cut her out, and then pop her on top. So you can absolutely do that. I might stamp her twice because we might see a bit of the mushroom underneath. Yeah, let's stamp her again. You do sometimes see the paper. The lines of the paper underneath. Again, like I say, you might want to stamp and fussy cut. It's all out there, that's probably off me. Okay, so there she is. Stamp butterflies next. I'm just giving the ink a little bit of a chance to dry because my mask is going to always sits better on ink that's a bit drier, because you could blast it with a heat tool if you wanted to. So let's have the butterflies coming out of the chimney. I think that one will be alright. And the other one we'll have to move the paper a bit. Let's have the smoke as morning mist, so it's a little bit lighter than the black. So you need to kind of imagine that these things are coloured in a bit. And so we need to change the orientation for this one a bit. In fact, we just move it down. I can't be bothered. It'll be alright. I do need my acetate though, so that I don't get ink all over the place. Let's see if we can get a similar sort of angle to the previous one. Because the wind's blowing, it wouldn't look right if the angle was totally skew-if, because it looked like if they were in a whirlwind or something. Did I drink all my coffee? No, I didn't. Why did we do that? Why did we not drink all our drink? Okay, so there's our butterfly smoke. Jean wants to live in the little mushroom house. Didn't know you had a twin sister, Jean. Okay, so that's that, and now we're going to do a little bit of masking so we can have the forest steps. So we do this one first, and I need my little mushroom house again. I've done with it, there it is. Always keep my masks in the same packet, so I say always, I've started to do it now, because a number of times I've had to redo masks. I'm sure I had one of these anyway, and I had to make another one because I didn't put it in the back of the packet. Bear with me, I'll try and find the end. If you put this down the way that it's come off, then it's easier for you to get it to stick again. Like I say, I always trim them a little bit inside the line, so that when you actually stamp, your stamp goes up to the line rather than missing the line, because you get a gap. If it's on the line, you'll get a gap. Not too worried about it being perfect up there, because this is the area that we're worried about. And we want, oops, sorry, our forest steps. And we're going to have them coming down like so. We could actually have it over the top. I wonder what it would look like if we actually had it over the top rather than masking it. Let's mask it because it's there. I'm using the Woodware masking sheets, which I do have in stock. Right, steps. What colour should we do the steps in? Let's do them in black. It's taken me ages to try and sort out my craft room. Ugh. I just keep on finding more drawers and more boxes of things. Don't know how it's going to all fit. See, I think it would look good with what we're doing. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have it like this, and then we'll take off the mask and see what it looks like. I've got to do that anyway, and then I'll decide whether I want to actually stamp it again. Actually, no, that works, that's fine. So we will use the mask on the other one as well. Happy with that. The poor postman, or the post fairy, or post dragon, whatever you want it, the post person to be. Got all these steps to climb over and over and over to visit these mushroom houses. I don't want to be a postman, or post thing, or post doing this, would you? Let's move that over a bit. Oh, doesn't need to be on there. That's going to go. I think the cat was actually in here earlier, and so I had to leave the door open. So Nathan's just got up and shut the door, and I think the cat's still here. I think he's under the bed because I think I can hear him snoring. It's quite a sweet little snore. So we're doing this in black. For house number 2. Yeah, woodware masket sheet. I think Facebook's a little bit behind me. So that's that one. Take that mask off. So obviously you have to imagine them coloured in. That back on there and put it back where it's supposed to be, so I don't lose it. We take that off, and we just want to finish this one off, and then we're all done. I think we'll just be within the 2 hours. Oh, where's the other big one? There it is. So we could, if we wanted to, we could bring Rindo in. He could be coming in, but I think he perches on things unless he's just coming for a visit. What do you think? Do you think Rindo's coming in for a visit? Let's add him. We won't do clouds because because of the paper, it looks like there's little clouds there anyway, so we won't stamp the clouds. We did those in the first project anyway. We will add some shrooms though. So Rindo's just flying in for a visit. Let's hope he doesn't breathe fire and singe all the butterflies. He's perfect because I've stamped him today anyway. This is where you get dirty fingers pulling the stamps off. And you definitely don't want to use a piece of white pulp. So just to finish this off, I think we'll bring in some dotted. We could bring in some dotted down here. Let's bring in some dotted mushrooms again. bring some in just there as well. They do work quite nicely together, the toadstool and the dotted mushrooms, because they've both got the dots on them. Tell you, pieces of acetate are invaluable. So that's there, like that. And do we want some here as well? Let's have one there as well. Desperately trying not to get dirty fingerprints everywhere. Let's bring one like that. Magnet on the floor. And we'll bring in something up here in a minute as well. I'll just show you a little trick. So we haven't put a sentiment on here. Can I say there's no sentiments on the show, so I'm trying not to put sentiments on everything. So once that's coloured in, that'll be fine. Mushrooms, put that away. I know you want to put it together, but you're not allowed. Right, let's just get a piece of suitable. Or that one. That's quite good. Right, so this obviously, you know, it's my torn pieces of card that I use to do my ground. So let's take some of the mini dancing mushrooms. And I think we will actually do them in Rainforest, which is the dark green. So if you put, I'm staying on the platform, so I've got that bounce. Put, sliding, put your piece of card that's roughly about that, and keep on moving it. We can add some tops of mushrooms, which could have been stamped a bit better. Don't know if we can get in if we can get any in there. Green. This is the problem when you don't use a stamping platform. I don't want all that. Let's just have a little bit. Okay, so that's that. So this is the fourth project of this live. I'll just get my recycled piece of black card so you can see how this one would look once it's matted and layered. Obviously I would colour it in, but you've got your scene there as well. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. So we've done anyway, so she's not missed anything, because I don't think Jean thought she couldn't watch at all. So we've done 4 projects. Let's see if I can move this up a little bit so you can see a bit of height. That's better, isn't it? Right, so we've got 4 projects that we've done in this live. So that was the first one, and then we went under the sea with that one. Then we did this pink one. And then we ended with this one here. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful. I hope you've got a shopping list ready. So remember, you'll find all of the products on my website in the As Seen on TV collection. It's at the top, Fairy Hugs on the 18th of November. And all the information's in there, but if you enter code FAIRY10 in the discount code box at checkout, then you'll get 10% discount on the items on the show. And that offer is valid until midnight on Sunday night, that's the 20th of November, or while stocks last. If there's anything that does go out of stock, just click on the email when available button, and you'll get notified as soon as it comes back in stock. So thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you've missed anything, you can find it all on my YouTube channel. It will be available shortly, and there's lots of other videos on there as well. And thank you so much. I won't manage to do Sunday stamping this week, but I will try and do a video for the weekend after for you.